What would it take for us to figure out doing something differently that would support teachers in learning from one another about a multiplicity of strategies that they were using to really support vulnerable readers? That's how this project started.
We know that most children do learn to read successfully without a lot of trouble, but we also know that there are a lot of children who struggle. And one of our questions was, who are the children who are not learning to read smoothly and easily?
We were asked to think about a student in our room that we felt we could affect a change on, and I'd like to think, well, that's every child all day, every day. But this seemed like a unique opportunity to really look at one child in my room, and that perhaps a child I wasn't noticing as much.
We often talk about what we're investigating here is the art of teaching. We have lots of books that tell us the science, and anybody who has ever been in a classroom, anybody who has ever had a child, knows that there's an art to it too.
So what we decided to do is actually field test an approach that we hadn't taken provincially before, and to actually document it, to actually ask these teachers to focus on one student in their classroom who they were puzzled about, they were curious about. They were trying to figure out, what do I need to do? What do I need to change in my instruction to support this child so they become readers?
He's got a large repertoire of stuff about volcanoes and bugs and dinosaurs. But when it comes to actually reading a book, Desmond does anything but.
He had a lot of knowledge but wasn't really interested in reading. She seemed confused with directions, didn't really know how to go about doing a good job in her work.
She was absolutely struggling. She could not read the word "the" at the beginning of the year.
He was a non-reader and a non-writer, and he really didn't know that he couldn't do either.
When he came into my room, I was thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm going to do with this child.
What I noticed first of all with Liam was that he had a difficult time following instructions, and when we got down to the reading portion, whenever we were reading and talking about text, he seemed like he was struggling with understanding it.
Now Ryan, your job is to look for the missing words, but Ethan, your job is to do... One of my grade 1 students was almost silent, was almost invisible, was almost not there in his enthusiasm and spirit. And I decided that that would be the student I chose. And I started watching him more closely during the day. I started noticing that even though he wasn't saying much, he was actually absorbing the activities we were doing. It wasn't showing in his reading, no sight words, no reading that you could say was real independent reading. He was echoing, but he was just in the background, sort of melting away. And I thought, I can't let this little guy melt away. I think I can reach him.
There's a lot of research about struggling readers. There's a lot of research about learning to read.
I showed my tooth to Mom.
It mostly is about specific strategies, specific techniques, and whole groups of children. We felt to make a difference in a system, we needed to go deeper than that and really start to uncover the complexity of it. So we didn't need a survey that said how many are boys, how many have behavior problems, how many speak English as a second language.
Are we on TV?
We really needed to learn about the uniqueness and diversity of the children and the uniqueness and diversity of approaches that teachers were using. We've been meeting once a month, and at each meeting the teachers bring evidence about the child. We gave them all cameras, so they bring videotape. They talk about the child, what the child is doing, how the child is growing and developing, and they talk about what they're doing. This approach gave us a chance to look at both the diversity, so we're looking at unique children in unique situations and teachers who are not cookie cutter, all the same, but also try and find some common threads.
So do you think this book is hard enough for her?
No, I should pick a harder one.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew I wanted to pick her because we have a very good relationship. It's easy for her to talk to adults, and she can be very awkward sometimes with kids. So I thought, well, what can I do to help her?
3 things: connections, visualization,
and questions.
You know what to do. Reading with him one-on-one for 5 or 10 minutes during silent reading time wasn't enough for him, and so I wanted to find something that was different, something that would be more specific to that child. And one of the most important things I did was get in touch with Mom.
I really connected with the family. So when I got to know Chelsea, I realized she was quite quiet and a little bit, didn't have a lot of confidence in herself. But when she did talk, it was about her family or about her brother. So I knew that was the key.
Out jumped the gingerbread man.
We have common threads. We have themes that cut across classrooms. But every classroom is different in some really important ways.
The first thing I did to get Richard to come out of his shell was I worked really hard at building a relationship with him. He wouldn't necessarily talk to me very much. I couldn't get a big conversation out of him, but he'd answer yes or no. But I noticed he always brought stuffed cats to school. So I really started paying attention to the fact that he loved cats. And so, as silly as it is, I would even, take one of his cats and we'd talk cat together, meow, 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 and he loved it.
One of the things that I do in my classroom is I try to have a lot of different places for them to read that are motivating for them, so that physically it's something that they enjoy, and that made a huge difference to him. Whenever he was in the loft or in one of the chairs, he wanted to read because he got to be in a spot that he really liked.
It had a lot to do with finding the book, the series. What was he interested in?
The program for Cooper is not the same as the program for the person that he sits beside.
Everyone's good at something, and we always celebrate the differences.
Rather than just seeing him as a student in my class, I actually have been able to see him more as a person for who he is and get to know him really, really well.
I want to first of all make sure they know they're unique, make sure they know that they're noticed every day.
And what's really neat is you get a brand new book like this that you've never seen before, and you don't go, I can't do it, freeze, frame, not gonna try. You just go, whatever, I know how to read. It's just words in a book.
I know it sounds corny, I know it sounds just like a typical motherhood statement, but it's really true that if a little child who's struggling starts to see small successes, knows that you've got a connection to them and that you noticed they were there, even though you've got 24 other children all over the room doing all sorts of things, it starts to make a big difference.
We were sure that if we had these wonderfully gifted teachers and we had time with them and we gave them time and focus, that we would learn things we didn't know. And we did.
Your job as a teacher then becomes to find ways to create a positive environment that he's going to go from and think, okay, I can read and I can do this.
That was awesome. Awesome.
She's a lot more confident when she's reading, and like say she'll go back and look at words if they don't make sense, but the confidence is just incredible.
This model works so well with Katie because I used her personality. So you guys don't need me at all, do you? I could just go drink coffee or something.
Yeah. You need to step back and find out what works for kids, and what works for one child certainly may not work for another.
Sometimes it's the French and sometimes it's the English. Just kind of helped him read and help him pronounce the words properly. And sometimes he kind of got distracted a little, but then he kind of went back to thing and he got more, he's more focused.
Oftentimes you would be reading a paragraph and then you would stop and say, okay, let's stop and talk about this.
At first I kind of didn't understand adjectives and stuff.
Right.
Until she taught me what they were. Yeah.
He still needs he still needs conversation about text in order to really grasp a full understanding of it. But he is improving.
Now I'm reading big books like that. Sometimes I can't not read so fast, so I don't finish the book as fast.
Well, it's not a 6-week program, a 10-week program. It's a life. It's my child's life we're talking about here. Each of us as parents can see how much potential is in our child. How to get it out is so difficult to figure out. And this kind of a system does just that.
I hope that someday that for him, it's that relationship, that trust relationship between he and I that will help him move forward with his reading.
She knew I believed in her, and that right from the start, when she started giving me the little knowing smile, she knew we were going to go somewhere with this.
Believing in him and him believing in himself, the confidence that he's gained just in himself, and he actually says, I'm a reader now. And I said, you always were a reader, you just didn't know you were.
I have to believe that they can do it, and I have to persevere, and I have to keep going with that belief in mind, because they can.
We have what we think is the standard avenue of learning to read, and most kids go along and they follow that, and that's the natural course of events. But for some kids, it's not the natural course of events.
It's reciprocal. It's student and teacher working together.
It's really individualizing with each of them in a way that gets them excited.
The importance of knowing my children and knowing what they need is who I am. I can't teach. I can't go into that day without knowing that information.
Being in this project, I had to step back and sort of look at what I'm doing, and it actually really helped me identify what my philosophy of education is and what my values are as a teacher and my role as a teacher.
There are things that you can't really teach in a teacher education program, and there are just the littlest things about teaching that are so hard to pass on to somebody without actually going into the classroom and looking at what teachers are doing.
We're several months later into this project. My student is now leaving my classroom as a reader and a writer and a speller, but that's not really the core of what I care about. He's leaving the room with smiles.
I think he's a really good teacher.